Emily and her husband, Mark, had just moved into their dream home. A charming cottage nestled in a quiet neighborhood. It was perfect, a little old, but full of character. The previous owner, an elderly woman, had left behind some furniture and old belongings in the attic, which Emily found quaint and charming. One evening, while Mark was working late, Emily decided to explore the attic. She pulled down the creaky ladder and climbed up into the dusty space. The air was thick with the scent of aged wood and forgotten memories. Boxes were stacked haphazardly, and an old rocking chair sat in the corner, bathed in the dim light of a single, flickering bulb. As Emily rummaged through the boxes, she found old photographs, vintage clothing, and a small, ornate box. Curious, she opened it to find an old, tarnished key. It was an odd shape, with intricate designs etched into the metal. She wondered what it could unlock but didn't dwell on it for long. Suddenly, she heard a soft creak behind her. She turned quickly, but the attic was empty, save for the boxes and the rocking chair. Dismissing it as the house settling, she decided to head back downstairs. That night, as she lay in bed, she heard the faint sound of footsteps above her. They were slow, deliberate, as if someone was pacing in the attic. Emily's heart raced, but she told herself it was just her imagination. Maybe it was an animal that had found its way inside. The next morning, she told Mark about the noises, but he shrugged it off, saying it was probably nothing. However, the footsteps continued, growing louder each night. Emily started to feel uneasy in the house, especially when she was alone. The attic began to feel like it was alive, like it was watching her. One night, the footsteps stopped, but something else took their place. As Emily lay in bed, she heard a soft, whispering voice. It was faint at first, but then it grew louder, like it was right next to her ear. The words were unintelligible, a maddening mix of sounds that sent chills down her spine. Terrified, she shook Mark awake, but by the time he was conscious, the whispering had stopped. He reassured her that it was probably a dream, but Emily knew she was awake. Something was wrong with the attic. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Emily decided to investigate during the day. She climbed back up the ladder, the key she found clutched tightly in her hand. The attic was just as she had left it, but now the atmosphere felt heavier, more oppressive. She approached the old rocking chair, which now seemed to be in a different position than before, facing the far corner of the attic. As she drew closer, she noticed something at a small door, barely visible, hidden in the shadows behind the chair. It was locked, the keyhole covered in dust and cobwebs. Without thinking, Emily inserted the key into the lock and turned it. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow, dark passageway. Follow for part 2.